Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. The way we add, subtract, and multiply and divide numbers, similarly, we add, multiply, and kind of subtract matrices. Similarly, we also we call that algebra of numbers or algebra of matrices. Similarly, we have got the algebra of functions, or you can say that combination of functions. That means given any two functions, with the help of two functions you can add them. Let's say you have f of x and g of x. You can add them, so you can define their sum. What do we mean by sum? We define their sum by f plus g. When we apply this function, new function, on x, we get f of x plus g of x. Similarly, we can define difference of two functions, f minus g. Here you have to be careful whether you are talking about f minus g or g minus f. So if you are talking about f minus g, then this is a new function. When we apply it on number x, we will get f of x minus g of x. Similarly, we define the product or the multiplication of two functions fg. When we apply it on x, we get f of x multiplied by g of x. Similarly, we can define the quotient, or you can say that we divide one function f by g, and this is a new function. When we apply it on x, we get f of x divided by g of x, with the condition that g of x should not be 0 at x values. This is very simple way of defining the sum, difference, product, and quotient. So let's talk more about them one by one. Special things would be to talk about, if we have two functions f and g, what will be the domain of their sum, what will be the domain of their difference, what will be the domain of their product, and what will be the domain of their quotient. So let's proceed with it. So let's proceed with defining the sum of two functions, and we will also talk about the domain, sum of two functions. As we have already discussed, that if we are given with two functions f of x and g of x, then their sum is defined by f plus g. When we operate it on x, we get f of x plus g of x. And don't forget that the domain of this new function, I will write dom of f plus g. So this is domain of f plus g, a new function. This domain is a set which is intersection of domain of f. So this is domain of f. This is a set intersection with the domain of g. So this will be the domain of the sum. Let's get started with an example. For example, we are given with f of x equal to, let's say, x square plus 2x minus 1, and we are given with another function g of x, which is 2x plus 1. You all are very much well aware of this. The domain of this g is all of the real numbers, because this is polynomial function, and the domain of f is also all real numbers. So first we will define their sum. Of course, the sum of f plus g applied to x is equal to f of x plus g of x. So you all need to keep the value of f of x here, x squared plus 2x minus 1, and the value of g of x over here. So this is the sum, x squared plus 2x minus 1 plus 2x plus 1. So when you simplify, you will get x squared plus 4x. Now I can ask you, what is the domain of this new function, which is the sum of these two functions? So the domain of this f plus g is equal to the domain of f intersection with domain of g. And you know that domain of f is all real numbers, intersection with domain of g is all real numbers, and intersection is r. So the domain of this new function is also set of all real numbers. Let's now consider an interesting example where I will consider my f of x to be a polynomial function, let's say x square plus 1, and I will consider another function g of x which is, let's say, square root of x minus 1. So don't forget that domain of this function is 1 and till plus infinity. So all numbers which are greater than equal to 1. And the domain of this function is f is all real numbers. First we need to define their sum, f plus g. So the sum is f of x plus g of x, which is x square plus 1 plus square root of x minus 1. Now you can ask me what is the domain of this function which we have defined right now, this sum. So the domain of this f plus g is domain of f intersection with domain of g. Domain of f is all real numbers. You can say that minus infinity to plus infinity, intersection with the domain of g, which is 1 to plus infinity. Now you need to perform this intersection. I assume that you know, and this intersection is equal to 1 to plus infinity. You can figure it out. So this is all about how to find the sum of two functions, and then how to find out their domain. And don't forget that the sum f plus g of x is equal to g plus f of x, or you can say that the functions are commutative with respect to sum. Then we define another kind of operation which is difference, but let's meet in the next class.